Hi, hi, hello, hello. This is a little bit late, but we are reading now the new chapters of Weekly Shonen Jump stuff. Starting with the latest chapter of Boku no Hero Academia, we return to this long, bitter, ideologically complex battle between Endeavor, the kids, Eraserhead, Gran Torino, and a litany of other heroes, all up against Shigaraki Tomura. Uh, we landed on a pretty decisive line. You heroes hurt your own families just to help complete strangers, something that resonates quite deeply with Endeavor, I'm sure, and I think really quite nicely bridges in that whole like Ozu-esque family drama that Endeavor was going through with that painfully awkward meal at home and his kind of half reconciliation with his estranged son. The way that they kind of set that up in isolation, they just had that as a nice standalone story, and then now in this moment of such climax of such critical battle, they just kind of throw all of that emotional energy at you as well. Well, pretty good. This is pretty good. I'm pretty excited. Okay, okay, okay. So, Eraserhead, we can see, is at his limit of staring at Shigaraki. His power is so like almost tragic. Like, have you ever tried keeping your eyes open? Like, I'm blinking right now. I can't stop myself. It reminds me of a scene in Peep Show. If you know about Peep Show and if you watch Peep Show, you know exactly the scene I mean. Anyways, yay, the page thing is working. Oh, thank God, this page thing has been a nightmare lately. You heroes pretend to be society's guardians. For generations, you pretended not to see those you couldn't protect and swept their pain under the rug. It's tainted everything you've built. This chapter title, by the way, is Plus Ultra. That's insane that they're actually using that as a chapter title after it being the unofficial slogan of the series from chapter 1, something that is shouted and recited and chanted again and again and again. This is the chapter that has that title. I'm pretty hype. I don't know what's gonna happen. Something is definitely gonna happen. Um, Even though it's starting in this very like dark, this condemnation of heroes. And here we see a flashback to Tomura Chan's just insanely tragic past. Again, something that I was shocked that they would put in Shonen Jump. Watching a child inadvertently dustify his own dog. It's disturbing, and this is the perspective he has on the world of heroes. This is the perspective he has on the world in general, as a place where shadowy figures pass over your pain. It's your system's all rotten from the inside with maggots crawling out. It all builds up, little by little, over time. You've got the common trash, all due dependent on being protected, and the brave guardians who created that trash that need coddling. It's a corrupt, vicious cycle. Now, this is something that we have seen in the Liberation Army's ideology, that we can see now how it's kind of fusing with Tomura's own perspective, because they're all about personal empowerment, that each individual ought to be able to use their quirk to take care of themselves, that the hero model of those chosen to protect everyone is outdated, and too fragile, too complacent. So yeah, this like the way that Tomura has resonated with this ideology from the perspective of someone who isn't even coddled, who is passed over because he's uncoddleable. Everything I've witnessed, this whole system you've built has always rejected me. Now I'm ready to reject it. That's why I destroy. That's why I took this power for myself. Simple enough, yeah? It is quite simple. And yet, I think just in the way that it's expressed through all these different characters, we had Stain, we had All for One, we had the Liberation Army, the way it all has fused and flowed together into Tomura's own motivations for what ultimately is a very simple goal. I'm going to destroy everything. I think it's well done, and it reminds me a lot of something that Slavoj Žižek says, the philosopher who made these two movies, The Pervert's Guide to Cinema and The Pervert's Guide to Ideology. I think it's a scene in The Pervert's Guide to Ideology. He's talking about the use of Beethoven's Ninth. The Beethoven's Ninth being this symbolic anthem of brotherhood between all men. That's what the lyrics are about in the big famous finale. Ya da 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 da. I don't know the German lyrics off the top of my head, but they're all about universal brotherhood, everyone being kind and a brother to one another. And basically, Zizek argues that if you look at the use of this song through history, that brotherhood has always excluded someone, and that only through the movement that it represents exclusion of something else do we actually have this facsimile, do we have this this fraud brotherhood, that we say we're all in this together, we all help one another, we'll help everyone equally, we're all brothers, and then you subtly, by doing that, neglect and exclude something that is marginalized, something that is unseen. And basically, that's what Tomura is saying here, that the more you make this cycle tight, the more that you reinforce this image of brave heroes and the helpless masses and that wonderful benevolence that heroes have to save everyone, the further and further you push away what doesn't get to be included in that everyone. Sorry, this is a big tangent, but it's something that I've always found very fascinating. Society's willingness to over and over and over again go through this pattern of exclusion to create the illusion of togetherness. And I think this is quite a very direct and on-the-nose example, and I'm really curious how the series will address this. Not just in terms of punching Tomura, he's probably going to get punched, but in terms of ideologically refuting it. Let's see. I don't care if you don't understand. That's what makes us heroes and villains. And here he is, Tomura-chan. The way they've drawn him in these kind of like gritty, more realistic depictions. Of course, there's the famous scene where he sneaks up on Deku at the mall. And then again and again, he keeps getting these, not always close-ups, but like very isolated, here is just Tomura shots with this kind of different art style. It's a really good way to kind of show how he's evolved. Just like the whiteness of his hair, the fact that we can't see his eyes anymore, the hands are gone, all that's left are his own hand, one of them mutilated. It really shows, like, this guy's been through a lot. Okay, Endeavor thanks him for this little speech that allowed him to relax. Blast him with fire, but I don't know, if they cover him in fire, can Eraserhead still see him? Is that going to be an issue? How is he still moving? Gran Torino slams into him. Todoroki's packing less fire now. Could it be blowback from all the fancy attacks? Uh-oh. Endeavor running out of steam. He has been fighting non-stop this entire arc. So it's only to be fair. This one's also seen better days. He's pushing past his limits to keep fighting. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And this isn't even a dusting attack. This isn't Tomura's quirk, because Eraserhead still has him locked down. But just his sheer physical strength has been enhanced to the extent that he looks like he smashes Gran Torino's leg just with his hand. Everyone rushing in. Gran Torino I could see dying. Just from a storytelling perspective, he's the type of character that dies. And, you know, it would only be suitable that in an arc of this gravity, in proclaiming to the world the new Shigaraki Tomura. And also there's the connection that Gran Torino knew well Tomura's mother, the previous inheritor of One for All. Ooh, suddenly a flashback. The young Gran Torino, so much taller. What a radical de-heightening he's had. If he was ever to learn of Kotaro, be sure to exploit our connection. Let's see. So this is where Tomura was abandoned. I have no son. I never did. Sorry, Hiko, I have no son. Ooh, and look again, this parallel. You heroes hurt your own families just to help complete strangers. Dad told me that. Decision we made. Oh, man. Yeah, this might be it for Gran Torino. Deku rushing in, but as he knows, Tomura is really only after him. That the next step that he has to take is acquiring One for All. So this is pretty stupid on Deku's part, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the Deku, I think, is very well characterized as this analytical person, as this hero nerd, who can keep a cool head in situations. So in these moments where he does something unbelievably stupid, there's so many heroes here ready to fight Tomura. He doesn't have to be the one that rushes in. But, you know, that's Gran Torino. That's one of his dearest mentors, having his guts ripped out right now, so it's understandable that we see here a completely wild Deku. He slams with the black ropes, but total whiff. Tomura rushing past, aiming right for Eraserhead. Oh, he understands. Oh no. Ooh! Ryukyu! Damn, Ryukyu's so cool! Oh, snap! Oh, I didn't see this one coming. See, this is one of the big benefits of like having this battle set up, the structure of this whole arc, is that like every pro hero is involved. Almost every villain is involved too. They have all these cards in their hand where I often talk about shonen series like this, like having cards in your hand. What can you play in this chapter to make it more hype? They have all these pro hero cards in their hand where it's like both perfectly conceivable that they could make it over to the scene of the current battle being depicted, because they have all sorts of like movement techniques and stuff. But then there's also just so much stuff going on, so many other battles, that it's perfectly reasonable for them to not show up as well. They have total freedom. Any hero they want at any time can make a dramatic entrance. I think that's a really powerful structure they've set up for themselves with this great battle type structure. It's cool. It's cool. And Ryukyu is cool. She's just a big dragon lady. That's badass. Okay. We'll never forgive you. I won't forgive anyone. Deku jumping in, binding them together with the black ropes, looking like he's trying to choke Shigaraki out. He elbows him in the back. Turn that rage into strength. Dang, these are powerful panels. The paneling is so cool too. This extreme sharp angle, everything moving to the force of Shigaraki's attack. It's like his elbow thrust is so powerful that it knocks the entire page askew. That's cool, but also quite brutal and devastating to see Deku spit out blood and his eyes go white like that. Okay, okay. Right there, Deku. Endeavor coming in. One more good hit with all I've got. One more should be enough too. Okay, but what happened here? We saw Shigaraki was taking something out of his pocket when he saw Deku. Some sort of quirk extractor, something like that. And then it looks like he's embedded it within Ryukyu. I don't... what is happening? Those fools still don't know that I've got this. Oh, it's Ares' quirk nullifying bullet. So as long as he can shoot that, fire it at Eraserhead in this crucial moment where everyone is rushing him, everyone is grabbing him, it'll just be a wave of disintegration as soon as that bullet hits. Okay, okay, alright, alright. I'm surprised this chapter was called Plus Ultra. No one said Plus Ultra. It was it's kind of interesting because the really impactful moments of Gran Torino's possible death and this flashback of thinking of when Tomaro was given up by the previous, of Shimura, of the previous All for One holder, or One for All, sorry. These things were kind of like buried within just this very intense fight scene and all of this intense psychology. So it's almost like it's too chaotic, it's too high stakes right now for us to properly measure the impact of what's happened in this chapter. Those moments weren't given like a big cinematic break where everyone reacts and comments on what's happened. There's no time. The fight is just going on. It's a pretty interesting way to do this. It almost kind of subverts, you know, the normal dramatic language of shonen to put this sort of stuff in the middle, and then later we think, oh geez, maybe Gran Torino is just dead. Okay, all right. We will see just in a few days. Hopefully I can get to the next chapter sooner. But yeah, good stuff. Okay, bye-bye for now.